In the original timeline of Dragon Ball Z, darkness triumphs. Goku dies of a heart virus before the androids arrive, and all the Z-Fighters fail to fend them off. This leaves Gohan as one of the only remaining Z-Fighters, who spends his time training Trunks to become his successor and one day defeat the androids. But what if, due to the twists from the threads of fate, a new timeline was created? A timeline where Future Gohan was able to still have his potential unleashed from the Elder Kai. And so, let me tell you the story of what if Future Gohan had his potential unleashed and became Ultimate Future Gohan. It was just days after Future Gohan had just fought the androids by himself to save Future Trunks. He was in the hospital under Bulma's care with her advanced medical technology, but he was still scarred from his battle, and in that bout, he even lost his arm. While he survived, he clearly would be slowed down in battle from here on out due to his missing limb. Trunks came running in with caution to ensure that Gohan was recovering well, and was thankful to see that his best friend and master had returned to consciousness. With Gohan waking up, Trunks is surprised when he sees a confused look stretch across Gohan's face. Trunks curiously asks what was wrong, and Gohan would reveal that the androids were different this time, that they had changed in some way. This time, they had toyed with him a lot longer, and now he could partially sense a faintness in their ki, which wasn't even supposed to be a possibility, as the androids cannot be sensed. When he fought them in combat, they seemed stronger, faster, and more durable, and to top it off, he noted a weird symbol that they now donned on their forehead. Gohan would say that he felt the gap between them and the androids had widened, and that it may never close again. Gohan's newfound despair had begun to douse the hope of the young Trunks, but their attention was drawn away to the entrance of the room, as two mysterious figures wandered around the doorframe. Their mysterious silhouettes formed from the light peeking into the windows. Gohan ripped off the blanket and jolted upwards, ready to fight, and demanded for them to reveal themselves. The two stepped closer to him, revealing themselves to not be the terrifying androids that they had feared, but an odd, foreign-looking duo. It was the Supreme Kai and Kibito. They revealed themselves as their titles, the God of Creation and the Protector of the God of Creation, and reassure that they are a friendly force, looking to help the two save their world by defeating the universal threat that now inhabits it. Babidi has arrived on Earth and has been working in secret to awaken Majin Buu, including their discovery of the androids and Babidi using his sorcery to empower them and help him out. This was a double whammy, as it not only allows for the android fights with Gohan and Trunks to empower the process of awakening Buu, but because the androids have infinite energy, just them simply existing allows for the additional slow progress of waking up Majin Buu. So, the Supreme Kai has come to help Gohan and Trunks so that they can in turn help them defeat or prevent the awakening of Majin Buu. Of course, they need Gohan and Trunks to come back with them to the world of the Kais, as right now they are far too weak to take on Babidi and his forces. Their failures would only make Buu's revival a guarantee. They head off to the world of the Kais so they can train to become worthy of wielding the Z-Sword and transcend their power. When they all arrive, Gohan is instructed to attempt to lift the Z-Sword. He struggles, and after failing miserably, he pushes forward to activate a Super Saiyan form. But because this future Gohan is far weaker in his Super Saiyan state than the one that actually lifted the sword in our timeline, but he has one less arm to attempt to pull out the blade, so he fails. And this forces him to train alongside his pupil and his new masters so that they can become the warriors who save Earth from the androids and by proxy save the universe from Buu's wrath. The cycle continues over and over again. Gohan would train for a few days and attempt to grab the sword, and then he would fail, which would begin another series of training sessions. Finally, it had gotten to the point where Supreme Kai said that this would be their last time trying to lift the Z-Sword. If they failed, then they would give up on Gohan and Trunks and begin a search for new warriors. In this attempt, Gohan as a Super Saiyan gave it everything that he had. The sword budged slightly from the ground, but it failed to be removed fully. Just as Gohan was about to give up on his goal and give in to failure, a set of helping hands wrapped around the blade over his. He looked over and saw Super Saiyan Trunks. The two smiled at each other before pulling the blade fully from the ground in success. Kibito looked at the pair in both shock and disapproval, as he had been surprised that the sword would actually be able to be successfully pulled by mortals, but mad that the mortals had cheated and teamed up to take it out. But as the two halflings settled back to the ground and reverted to their base forms, they noted that despite freeing the blade, There was no innate power increase from wielding it. They both looked over at the gods that guided them and questioned, why is he not stronger despite wielding the sword? Kibito mocked, guessing that they were not gifted with power because they had freed it dishonestly. But Supreme Kai postulated that it would give them power once they had successfully wielded it in combat, and as for now, they could barely even hold it. So for the next few days, the two trained with the sword, and grew in power rapidly, to the point where they could wield the sword naturally like a swordsman. Gohan had felt so much stronger after the Z-Sword training, believing that he could easily defeat the androids from before Babidi's spell once he hit Super Saiyan. Though, that spell, enhancing their power, would make defeating them now very difficult. He asked Kibito and Supreme Kai if the two of them were now ready to face off against Babidi and his forces, as to which the two still questioned whether or not they could face them, and told them of his powerful warriors, Pui, Yakon, and Deborah. While they were discussing, Gohan felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around only to see a face that he hadn't seen in many years, a familiar face that was crowned with a halo. It was his father, Son Goku. Gohan cried and embraced his father, the years of torment that he endured with the androids spilling out with his tears. Goku would tell Gohan that he did a great job, because he's still around, and the fight is not over yet, and Earth and the universe can still be saved. Goku then interacts with Trunks, knowing through King Kai that he was Vegeta's son and remembering the baby he saw years back. He also congratulates the young boy and says that his father would be proud of him for having become a Super Saiyan at such a young age. But Goku wishes to see the powers of the Z-Sword and how sharp it really is, so he picks up a boulder to toss it. But the Supreme Kai insists that they go all out, and he creates the most powerful metal in the universe, Klangite. As the material is tossed at Gohan, he sliced the sword against it. Fortunately for them, the sword shattered to pieces and broke. Filled with fear, Gohan started to pick up the pieces and pile them together, asking if there was a way for the blade to be fixed or reforged. But his questions were answered by a raspy voice he had never heard before. The voice begged for them to not fix the sword, for it not to be rebuilt, as they did not want to be trapped in that sword any longer. The old soul that was hidden in the Z-Sword was none other than Old Kai. Old Kai would actually offer the ability to unleash the full potential of the boys so they could stop the advent of Majin Buu. He said he could unleash both Gohan and Trunks' full power, but that he would have to do them separately, as to which Kibito and Supreme Kai interjected. That they wouldn't have the time to wait for the two of them, that he must pick one to unleash their full potential. The Old Kai sensed that Gohan, despite being older than Trunks, still had far more potential in him, and decided that he would do the ritual on him. But Goku saw Trunks' own innate potential and offered to take him far away from the ritual so that he could train him while Gohan concentrates. Goku decides to show Trunks the evolution of the Super Saiyan form, to show him and give him the motivation that there is power far beyond that of a Super Saiyan. He would show him grades 2 and 3 and discuss the pitfalls of those forms. Then he would show him grade 4, the full-powered Super Saiyan, and that it was the true progression of the initial Super Saiyan form. As well, he showed him Super Saiyan 2, and then finally, the unimaginable power of a Super Saiyan 3. Due to Goku's now expertise of the Super Saiyan forms and the high potential of Trunks, he would be able to progress his power quite fast, as Trunks would learn Super Saiyan 2 in short time, thus allowing for him to achieve a higher echelon of power. During one session with Goku, Trunks was nearing the next level. He was already in Super Saiyan 2, and he was growing his power further. His hair had begun to grow with it. But his transformation process ceased when a booming power rocketed into the sky adjacent to them. They both knew. It was the fully awakened power of Son Gohan. Quickly, they traveled back to see him in his full glory. With now Gohan and Trunks far stronger thanks to the Z-Sword training, Elder Kai unleashing full potential, and Goku Super Saiyan training, the four of them would head back to Earth so they could put a stop to Babidi once and for all. Goku chose to stay back with Elder Kai to watch the fight on his orb, as he fully believes that Gohan and Trunks will accomplish their mission. As the fearsome foursome arrive in the area where they believe Babidi is, they are taken inside of the base to face off against Babidi's first minion, Pui. Supreme Kai says not to take anything lightly, and warns them that Pui is a fearsome warrior. But they are shocked to see that Pui is not even in the room, or so they thought at first. Eventually, they would see the remains of his corpse on the ground. He looked to be a pile of skin, as if his insides were taken from him. The four looked at each other shocked, but moved on to the next room anyways. Yakon was there, and an attempt to kill them and eat their light. Ultimately, Goku's training had rubbed off on Trunks. He activated his Super Saiyan power once he figured out that Yakon was eating light, and he forced Yakon to eat too much light, causing him to explode, killing him and winning the fight. This would lead them to the final room, where Supreme Kai was on edge, in complete fear that Deborah, the Demon King's power, would bring to them. Though, when they finally arrived in that room, they only saw Deborah's limbs separated from his body as his lifeless face stared at them blankly. They looked over and saw the two androids laughing in full glory from their victory over the Demon King. Babidi was wailing in laughter as he saw that the outcome of Deborah's death had nearly filled Majin Buu's meter. He would be back at any moment. The Z-Fighters would need to kill the androids in an instant if they wanted to be proven successful. Will they succeed in fighting the Majin androids and stopping Majin Buu? Find out next time on Broku 72. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Really felt like doing a what if for the first time in a long time, and really feel like doing more. Now, the more support this video gets, the more, heartfelt comments, and the more likes it gets, the more likely I do a new what if quicker. And the better this one does, the more likely I do a sequel to this next. So please leave a like, shoot for 1,000 likes, also subscribe. This channel was at 80,000 once, but let's get it back to 80,000, and let's shoot for the moon, and let's get 100,000. That is my goal. After rereading Dragon Ball again, and really liking the granola fight right now, I'm starting to like Dragon Ball again. It was my life for too long. That's partially why I took a break from it. And also, if you watch the video, there's a lot of other reasons I don't want to get into anymore because that's the past now. But after taking the big break from Dragon Ball, reading other series, and now the past couple weeks I've been watching old Dragon Ball content I used to love, some new Dragon Ball content, and now I think that I might be back. We'll see though. But please guys, let me know your comments down below. It's good to be back, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Peace out.